Hey everybody, welcome to The Last Tinker City of Colours. So this is a game by Me Productions, a German studio, released as of Monday of this week for £14.99 or $20, and it is available for PC, Mac and Linux. To best describe the game, it's like a hark back to the N64 era of 3D platformers, kind of like Banjo-Kazooie or Donkey Kong 64 or Mario 64, kind of that kind of vibe to it. It's a game that, well, not particularly deep. It's still a very fun and enjoyable game. I'd say it's more geared towards younger audiences, but that doesn't mean that older people or people that are nostalgic for that era of video games cannot enjoy this game. What we'll do firstly, we'll look at the options menu and then we'll talk about what the game's going on. So video, lots of settings that you would expect. In fact, I can crank these back up again. I was just messing about with my settings for recording, and you've got like a full array of things. So basically the game's built in Unity, so it's a Unity game, and for a Unity game it's actually very fleshed out in terms of what you can adjust and change, which I like to see. Would probably prefer to see actual like anti-aliasing or anti-aliasing settings, like 2x, 4x, so on and so forth. Same with filtering here, but certainly as far as it goes for what's available, it's certainly a very fine selection of stuff that you can change and modify. Particularly, I do enjoy seeing colorblind mode. More games should implement a colorblind mode, especially a game like this where it's heavily, the game heavily revolves around the idea of color. Having a colorblind mode is very, very, very important, and I'm very happy to see that that's there. No, I'll apply the changes, thank you. Very good, back. Audio, same again, sliders, things, stuff, all the good stuff. So the game does have full gamepad support out the box. You can use keyboard and mouse if you wish to do so. Gamepad just feels better to me because it's the kind of game that kind of lends itself to using a gamepad. If you've ever played an N64, you weren't using a keyboard and mouse, that's for sure. Anyway, the game itself, you play as Koru, an ape-type person who is the last of their kind. The Last Tinker, as the name suggests, and you've got a special power to imbue colour and batter things with colour and do things with colour, and basically your world, your Tinkertown or Tinker City, or I can't remember the name of the place, but anyway, it's been hit by the Bleakness, a scourge that's kind of taken the colour out of the area of your world, of your city, and it's basically not killing so much the people that you know, but it's like rendering them useless and colourless, and they can't move, and they're like statues, they're like petrified, and you have to save them all. So what we'll do is we'll go and we'll play. I'll load up a game from here. Yeah, that'll be a good place to start, because it's kind of a good area to begin from. The beginning of the game starts with like tutorialization and stuff, and then you kind of work into the game, and then it starts off, and this is more kind of like the actual game itself. So what we need to do is speak to this red spirit up here. He possesses the red colour that we need. So here we are. We are Little Ape Man. We've got the whole 3D platforming thing. The game has kind of like a free running, like parkour type element to it. I'm holding trigger here to run. You can do dashing. Combat is done with the B button. The combat is a bit limp in terms of, I mean, if you're looking for a game where you get to fight in depth and there's lots of like mechanics and stuff, this is probably not the game for you. It's a very simple game in terms of mechanics. Anyway, here's a little friend, little sheep man, the red dome. Whoever painted these symbols wanted us to come here. And look who's over there, Balzo and his gang. It looks like they're in bad shape indeed. Look at them all. Whoa, 3 of them are petrified. Do you think we should go and see what's wrong with them? They may be slime balls, but still, you know, we're a good guy, we're a good ape, and our good little sheep friend. Yeah, so basically what we need to do, we're in this large red dome, and we need to get up to the top here, where I'm kind of like above where my hat tassely bit is, and that's where the red spirit is. What we need to do is through this little area, we've got platforming to do, we've got various objectives to meet, we've got people to talk to along the way, and it's all very very reminiscent of the N64 era of gaming. The game, not particularly difficult by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it's very easy. The game is littered with checkpoints, which are very liberal, and they're very quick to restart you. You've got no total life. As far as I can tell, there's a fucking thing up there that's going to shoot at me if I go any closer. So that's one of the Bleakness monsters. They are like without colour, they've got purple eyes, and what they do is they want to kill us basically, or they'll hit us with stuff, turn us bleak, and we'll need to restart at a checkpoint. But as I said, checkpoints are very liberal, and you're not going to find yourself having to like retrack over the same area like over like say a stretch of 5 to 10 minutes. It's all very, very short spaced, and if you do die, you come back straight away. There are barrels and things that we bust open. So here's a checkpoint here. They come very fast and furiously. Am I getting shot at by that guy? Is he gonna hit me? Oh, there's one over there actually. So the checkpoints come fast and furious. That's good for business. And we'll come back over here and I'll show you the barrels. So we can bash barrels open. They contain crystals. I've used crystals so far to enter a race, so I'd assume that at a later stage in the game you can probably buy stuff. We also have things like this. It's like a kind of skyline rail type thing that you can like slide along. You don't control or balance or anything on them, they just kind of go. Occasionally you may need to jump using the right bumper, but that's kind of simple, and it's very well telegraphed to you. You get like big like boards that have an X symbol on them that signify you cannot go through here, so obviously you're going to have to stop. So we've got a couple of different directions that we can go. What we can use on the D-pad is the up button, and that will send off our little sheep man, and sheep man will guide us to where we need to go. So it's, again, very, very easy. There's not much in the way of complication. You're not going to find yourself like playing Dark Souls, like, oh, I'm lost and I don't know where to go. The game will absolutely hold your hand, and that's not a bad thing, per se. I mean, as I said, the game is geared towards younger audiences, 100%. There's no doubt about it. Not to say that an older person or someone in their 20s or 30s can't enjoy the game. It's just that the game is more geared towards the younger audiences. You can kind of tell I did die there, which is a travesty after saying how easy the game is. I just wanted to show the parkour or the jumping about elements. It's not so much parkour or free running as it is like being able to platform by holding a button and pressing a direction. Not particularly difficult. You won't find yourself dying due to the platforming very often, unless you make a silly mistake like I did by waiting for the tentacle to submerge itself and then jump on top of it. I hold the right bumper, I press in the direction. When the tentacles come up or when the object that you want to jump on is there, just kind of press in the general direction. I've done it again, but I mean, I'm trying to explain what's going on. So basically, yeah, you don't actually control the direction of the jump when you're in that kind of like parkour mode. You control the running when you're on like flat surfaces. When you're in here, you just kind of press in the direction. I'm not actually, oh well, okay, you have to kind of turn slightly, but it's not difficult at all. Once you get your head around the fact that you don't really need to worry about jumping or anything like that, you just press in a direction holding the trigger button. Very easy. I'll try and not die this time. And you can chain together some really cool jumps just by modifying your camera position and holding the forward button. I need to wait for these tentacles to come back. There we go. So by modifying the direction of the camera, we of course change how we can jump around here. We're going to make this on a 1, I think. There we go, up you go. There we go, very good. We managed that in a checkpoint to say you've done it. And very good. So along the way there are collectibles. You can collect things like paintbrushes. I haven't seen any other type of collectible aside from the crystals, the health ups, or not health ups, but your like health replenishing orbs and paintbrushes. I believe there's 5 paintbrushes per each stage. So here's Balzo's minions, shall we say, his gang. They've all been petrified. Punch you in the face. It's a good way to show the combat, actually. So combat's with B. You can chain together combat by pressing B and then holding a different direction, and it should hopefully take you towards the next enemy. So you go boom, 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 boom. Kind of like the kind of beat 'em up style-y, Batman-y type combat, or like Assassin's Creed. I've heard people refer to it as that kind of dealio, which is close, but it's not as in depth. It's a very, very basic form of that. Again, not to say that that's a bad thing, especially with the audience or the general idea of who the game's meant to be for in mind. Anyway, Balzo, he's calling us apeface. He's one of the antagonists at the start of the game, but he doesn't seem to be much of an antagonist now that the game's kind of kicked off. I believe the rivalry between Koru and Balzo is going to come to an end soon as we help him out to fix his buddies up. Anyway, no way, I don't really care. Did you see what happened to my friends? We came here to ask the Red Spirit for help. He doesn't talk to red folk anymore, but I figured we had to try, you know. It doesn't matter, now I can't leave my guys like this, blah, blah, de blah. Go up to the shrine, see if you can make it. Red Spirit, things, stuff, words. Yes, okay. So basically, he wants us to go and speak to the Red Spirit because the Red Spirit won't speak to the red folks anymore. The world that you're in is split into defined districts of colour, and the people of their individual colour go to the... Can I go down there? Well, there's no reason for me to go down there. They're split into separate districts, and there seems to be like a kind of racial undertone. There seems to be kind of like racist remarks getting bandied about, some derogatory terms. It's a very strange way to start the game. It feels like the town that you're in is kind of split and divided by colour, and everyone's kind of fighting against one another. And I think your quest is the last thing, is to replenish colour to the town and to get everyone being pals again, basically. So we've got another one of these kind of jumpy bits. This one is relatively easy. You kind of just hold the direction that you want to go, change your camera position, and it just guides you around. I'm not really doing anything it's not really tasking at all. There we go, a checkpoint to say you've done it, although maybe I wouldn't need one. What I would like, maybe, I don't know if the game has it, but a New Game Plus mode with like no checkpoints would be pretty damn cool. for the older generations, perhaps, people that are more adept with difficult games. I'm just going to wait for this to come round. So the cogs have got holes in them, we can get through here. Again, we can just run through here, and we will run up here. Round and round the pipe we go. We've got another one of these cogs with holes. And the whole world, if you've noticed, is made from like painted rocks and... Can I get you? No. So the stuff follows us around the bleakness. If we touch that, I believe we do die. Yeah. The bleakness is kind of what we're trying to combat. So where did I start? Oh, okay, we started here. That's not too bad. So yeah, a new game plus with no checkpoints would be really, really cool to see. I don't know if that exists. If it does, it would be really awesome. If not, then no harm, no foul. But it certainly is an enjoyable game. It is kind of tugging on the old nostalgia. I think sometimes the lack of difficulty is a downside for me. I find the game particularly easy, and from like being able to, like, this morning before I recorded, I started the game again, and I rattled through the tutorial and got here very, very quickly and without much in the way of deterrent for me to get here, which is, again, given the audience, is not a terrible thing, but at the same time, I'm a man and I like to play video games. I'm an adult, and okay, we'll speak to the red spirit and I'll go off my tangent after that. Red spirit's angry, so the colour red, of course, anger. Blue colour, I think it's grievance or grieve, and the green colour is... I'm not really sure what the green colour is again, but we'll certainly... red colour, angry. There you are! Sorry, I mean, there you are. I'm glad you followed my... Oh, yes, and of course, skipping the text, you can press Y, or you can just hold Y down and it goes through it very quickly, so I'll probably hold down Y just to get through the text rather swiftly. Very glad, sorry, but always bursts out at me. He's an angry little red spirit. I live in this relaxing temple. I'm currently the opposite of well-adjusted. Okay. We can tell us what's going on. So we don't speak, but our little sheep man speaks, and he does all the talking for us. He's like the words man, and we're like the punching man. I can. Sorry, well, first of all, the bleakness says destroying the city. Yes, it is certainly the bleakness. You mean that white stuff? Boy, you're smart. Sorry, but yes, it's the most destructive force in Tinker World. If you don't stop it, Colortown will be destroyed. So yes, it's Colortown and Tinker World. It's strange that the world's called Tinker World, but there's only one of us left. You would think they would have changed the name a long time before extinction was a possibility. Anyway, how are we supposed to stop it? With a big mop? Really don't know your friend there with you, fancy here. He's a tinker. That's new. Stuff. I'll just skip through these text things just so we can discuss what's going on. So basically, he's saying that we're the special guy. We have to beat this boss man thing, this colourless ball of goop. He's a spawner. He spawns bad things. You're a tinker. We can take the power of the red from this man here and use it against the bad stuff. So I'm just going to skip through these. Just if you're going to play the game yourself, you'll probably read through the stuff. I don't want to spoil all the text and stuff for you. All that fun stuff. So we've now got the power of being able to, like, use red anger, punchy in the face, and that'll mean that we can actually kill enemies now. So prior to this, we weren't able to hurt enemies. Let's see, so we're getting told to go this direction here. I guess we need to go this way. Jump down here. Okay, certainly. And let's see where we're going. We're going this way. So our little elephant sheep man. Some more platforming. Not very difficult. So we come to these things. These are like pads that can fire us by pressing Y. We press Y, we get fired off into the distance, we have fun while we do it. And this is the first time we come into actual combat with the bad guys, so... I'm just mashing the B button, they all died, we get a checkpoint. Not very difficult, but at the same time, kind of fun. I say kind of fun, I mean it is fun, but don't fall off. It is fun, but there's only so much that you can do before you think, well, I've done the same combo 100 times to the same enemy. For younger audiences, it's probably going to be invigorating, playing a game, being able to beat it without much of a hassle, feeling that kind of superpower that you're the last tinker and you've got powerful superpowers that you can do things. That's going to be a good feeling for people. Other people will be like, well, it's kind of easy. But that's neither here nor there. So here's the first like jumpy puzzle on our zip line thing. Not very difficult at all. We just jump over that. We come here, we've got more enemies. The first point of difficulty that I came to, the first part that I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing here, or not so much I don't know what I'm doing. The first part I died numerously is coming up, and it's going to be the big bad squelchy man. Okay, I didn't jump late. I left the jump too early. We'll try that one again. At least the enemies are dead, we don't need to fight them again. We come back very quickly, which I like. I like the fact that we come back very quickly. There's not too much in terms of delay from when you die to when you respawn. And the numerous nature of the checkpoints is good for that as well, because you just come back straight away to the place you were. Not too much hassle. Jump over here. There we go. Come down here. Enemies still dead, so that's fine. We don't need to worry too much about that. We're going to jump on the zipline again and go down. Well, I call it a zipline. I think they're called somethings. Somethings! Yeah, absolutely, Tom. They're called somethings. They have a name, I just can't remember what they are. We're going to jump over you, thank you very much. And we'll come around swinging and swooping. Now we've got this big guy here. This big lizard-looking man who fires out stuff. These guys ain't got nothing. You ain't got shit. There we go. Squelch them into the ground. Give them some red in the face. Now this is the bit that got me. So the boss sticks its tongue out like this. It doesn't attack any other way than this, but I need to get out of the way. What it'll do is it will eventually send its tongue out like a big gobstopper. It'll be like, hello nurse. And we need to avoid that. There we go. And then he'll send some more of these enemies out. I think it's 3 phases in total that he does. Not too difficult. The first part was dodging away from the tongue, which I found more difficult than it had to be. There we go, we'll get in there, we'll give it a good punch bag, slap it about, there we go, get your tongue at my sight. We get out the way when he's going to fire. We're using the right bumper, of course, to dodge out the way. The game controls really well. That's one thing that I will say, is the game does control precisely as you would like it to. There's not too much in the way of falling off of stuff because you feel the controls were at fault. It's more so the fact that... Is he going to tongue me? Is he going to tongue me? No, he's going to die. Splat! And all this colourfulness gets squatted out. So basically, he was, like, sucking up all the colour from the land. Very nice. It's a very pretty looking game. Very colourful. All that colour came out of that thing. Of course it did. Angry red spirit. Drain colour has to go somewhere. Yes, very good. Defeated it, free stuff, we done things. Market district was blocked. So basically, it's basically saying the market district was blocked by one of those things. We need to go and fight this guy outside. We need to leave the dome. It's now nice and colourful. This is how the game does look at the start, and it's a very pretty looking game, very colourful. Cartoony, but not a fault at all. I think it's a really good look for the game. It has that kind of endearing, welcoming look to the younger audiences, and it kind of makes me happy as well. There's a lot of stuff. I like the way that it's kind of all painted rock, and you can see like the way that the textures are, like you can see like the brushes of paint across, like you can see that the kind of brush strokes, and it's all like stone that's been brushed and painted, and you've got things that are made of cardboard, and it's all like a handmade world. Not so much hand-drawn, handmade. Like it's got that kind of handmade vibe, like someone's got, like, well, look at this, like you can see at the side, it's got the cardboardy bits, and I think that's really, really pretty and really, really cool, and I've never seen something like that in a game. Not to my knowledge anyway, or I've never noticed it. It's very prominent in this game, and I think it's really cool. I enjoy that very much. So it controls well, it looks pretty. Difficulty might be an issue for some people. If you're going to get it for, say, a younger sibling, or for a son or a daughter, or for a member of your family that's younger, then certainly, yeah, go ahead, because I think it's the game that younger generations will really, really dig. Or if you just want a thick dose of nostalgia from the N64 era, then certainly go right ahead as well. It is a fun game. Okay, so we've got Bolso's men. We're just going to punch them and make them colourful again. There we go. Alright, lads. Very good. Good play. Solid play. Ape face. A little beating didn't hurt them either. So basically, he's now giving us kind of compliments within his passive-aggressive speech. Pay them a visit. So we've got to go and kill some things. I think that gives you a good idea of what the game's about and how it works. I'm not going to go too far into this, but this is one of the particular levels. There's probably going to be several more, at least one for each colour, which will be red, green, and blue. And yeah, the Last Tinker City of Colours, very enjoyable game, very simple game, very easy game, but that's kind of the way the game is, being kind of designed for younger audiences. I wouldn't say that it's something that I would recommend to someone. If someone said my favourite game's Dark Souls, recommend me a game, I wouldn't say this is the game for you. But otherwise, if you've got younger people in the family, certainly it's a game for them. Or if you just want a thick slab of nostalgia, go right ahead.